Welcome back, Truth Seeker. February 15th, 2019, the 46th day of the year, and we have a mass shooting by a familiar pattern. The number 46 symbolizes the word chaos, and the Masons who control police, media, government, their motto is order out of chaos. Last year, I predicted there would be a false flag shooting on September 19th, 2018, because the date had multiple connections to the number 46. There ended up being two mass shootings that day, one in Wisconsin and one in Masontown, Pennsylvania. I called the respective governors about both states about that incident. From then up to the present, we've seen a number of other shootings involving the number 46. So understand, we get this mass shooting on the 46th day of the year. This is your government, your police, and your media conspiring against the people for agenda, for the purpose of disarming the nation, for the purpose of instilling fear, to remind us why we need Big Brother to keep us safe, when really it's Big Brother that's responsible for these incidents. It's Big Brother that's responsible for the majority of the violence in the world. And on top of all that, we have another shooting in Aurora. And I'm going to show you how this shooting is synced up with the Aurora, Colorado shooting of July 20th, 2012. There's a perfect riddle here. If you watch the video I put out earlier today about why Donald Trump declared a national emergency for the wall, it's the exact same riddle. The headlines out of that was Donald Trump's creating a constitutional crisis. Constitutional chaos. Same pattern I talked about earlier today, the same thing that's going to prove itself to be true here, looking at these two Aurora shootings. So first of all, what's in the name Aurora? Again, you have to understand the language of letters and numbers. This is a Masonic code. All government propaganda is contrived by this code. And the reason why is because it's Masonic, and Masonry is based in Kabbalah. And one of the core beliefs of Kabbalah is the association between letters and numbers. In the Book of Formation, a Kabbalistic text, the opening paragraph says, God created the world by merging the letter with the number with the word. So this is a belief about how God operates. This is why the Masons use this code to play God over the masses. So if you're new here, Aurora sums to 74. You get this value by just using the alphabetic order. A is 1 up to Z is 26. Active shooter sums to 74. And we always see these numbers in active shooter incidents, just again and again and again. The way active shooter sums to 74 is by turning the alphabetic order around, making Z1, counting back to A is 26, and using the rules of numerology. So you notice how A is 8. That's because A is the 26th letter. The numerology of 26 is 2 plus 6 is 8. C becomes the 24th letter, 2 plus 4 is 6, and so on. Alphabetic order in reverse, rules of numerology. Aurora, Illinois also sums to 74. This is using the alphabetic order and the rules of numerology. A is still 1. U, the 21st letter, becomes 2 plus 1 is 3. R, the 18th letter, 1 plus 8 is 9, so on. So you want to know the alphabetic order forwards and backwards with the rules of numerology. You know these ciphers, you can see through the repetitive rituals. And 74 is a number that's used above all numbers. Been talking about this nonstop since 2013. Just using the alphabetic order, killing, Masonic, Jewish, occult, they all sum to 74. This is occult knowledge, meaning hidden. Comes from Jewish mysticism, Kabbalah, which is adopted by Masonry. There's a song out there called Gematria, the killing name. For the record, the word English and the word Gematria, just using the alphabetic order, both sum to 74. Gematria is the practice of coding numbers into words. Holiday equals 74. So does Independence Day. A number above all numbers. What's our nation's birthday? 7-4. So the initial report is 4 people are injured. All police officers. Again, this is a police drill, so of course it's all police officers injured, and you know, they're probably all going to get some vacation leave and some nice pay at the taxpayer expense. But 4 and 7, special numbers. The divisors of 4 sum to 7. 7 is the 4th prime number. It's part of the reason these numbers are so special. The fourth book of the Bible is titled Numbers. This code's biblical. So again, today's the 46th day of the year. Chaos equals 46. In Latin, the Masonic motto for order out of chaos is Ordo ab Chao, which equals 46. It's written on a lot of Masonic symbolism. Chaos, and the Latin for order out of chaos, 46. And called many false flags in advance. September 19th, I said circle this date. And the reason I said circle September 19th, 2018, several times before it happened, was because it was a date with 46 numerology, and it was also 19/9. 199 is the 46th prime. And sure enough, 2 shootings that day, and 1 in Masontown, Pennsylvania. And how many years have I been doing this now? Calling these events before they happen, exposing how they happen by the same exact patterns. Putting it in Masontown was really in our face. And look at the Gematria Masontown, 46. You know, there were 2 shootings. The other one was in Wisconsin on this day. Masontown also had the other connection to shooting. So anyway, you can go back and watch those videos. They're still up. But let's continue with today's shooting in Aurora, Colorado, and how it's Aurora, Illinois, and how it's synced up with the Aurora, Colorado shooting. Before we get there, I want to point out the building where today's shooting happened in Illinois. You see how the word Pratt is front and center in the image they're putting out, saying it happened at this business warehouse? Pratt. Here's what's in the word Pratt. Gematria of 75, order out of chaos, 75, order also 75. Don't forget New World Order equals 75, and you have the New York Times article from years ago that says New World Order pledged to Jews, and that article came on a date with 75 numerology. Just do a search in my video channel. It'll pop right up. New World Order pledged to Jews on a date with 75 numerology. The building's called the Henry Pratt Company, or the business. That also has Gematria of 88, also like Aurora, also like Masonic ritual, which this is. Henry Pratt Company 227, 22 divided by 7 gives you pi, cycles and circles. You look at the Masonic logo, it's instruments of geometry around a capital G. Gematria means geometry in language. Everything comes back to pi and cycles and circles, because that's the world we live in. And this news propaganda, when you know the code, you see just how repetitive it is, how all of these events are orchestrated by the same set of numbers again and again and again. The Aurora shooting, July 20th, 2012, from that day to this incident is 343 weeks. And what stands out about that is the prime factorization of 343 is 7 times 7 times 7. 777 and 343 are numbers that have a relationship in this study. In Jewish Gematria, order out of chaos sums to 777. Donald Trump, who I talked about this morning, became president at 70 years, 7 months, and 7 days. He's the order out of chaos candidate. That's why today, on the 46th day of the year, he creates the constitutional chaos. He's a puppet on strings. In case you forgot, the shooter of Aurora, Colorado, his name was James Egan Holmes. Gematria 58, like Freemasonry, like secret society. Aurora, IL, where today's shooting is, also carries this value of 58, like how you'd write it on an envelope. Recall how the Colorado shooting came, and then the Sandy Hook school shooting came, and how there was a riddle with the Batman film. Again, the Aurora, Colorado shooting was at the Batman movie premiere. Let me put this together in case you forget. From the Aurora, Colorado shooting to Sandy Hook was 147 days. Freemason equals 147, so does conspiracy. And in the Batman film, they added Aurora to the night skyline, same film where the theater shooting in Aurora happened. And what they also did for that film was they changed the neighborhood on the Gotham map from South Hinckley to Sandy Hook. For decades on the Gotham map, the neighborhood had been called South Hinckley. Think about Hinckley, that's another shooter name, right? But South Hinckley to Sandy Hook for the same Batman film where the shooting happened in Aurora. So you end up getting a Sandy Hook shooting synced up with an Aurora shooting and 147 days apart. Freemason 147, conspiracy 147. I should also mention that in Jewish gematria, police equals 147. And again, police is controlled by masonry. What else is interesting is the Aurora shooter, James Egan Holmes. His birth numerology was 112. Sandy Hook shooter, Adam Lanza, was born April 22nd, the 112th day of the year. Sandy Hook equals 112. Remember the Dune Blaine massacre, which was a shooting of first graders, which got gun rights taken away in the UK? That was on a date with 112 numerology, March 13th, 96, 3 plus 13 plus 96. And everyone reported that Adam Lanza was 112 pounds. 112 pounds, and this is why. 112 is the alt dialing code for 911. The point is, all of these shootings that are broadcast through the mainstream are propaganda. They're numerically encoded. They're rituals. And they're all carried out by masonry. And if you're not aware, the 33rd episode of the Batman TV show, in that episode, they talk about how Bruce Wayne's grandfather established Yale Skull and Bones, the Masonic secret society, the Masonic order. You know, in the Batman film, they're sure to show you 322. You know, that was in a more recent film, in an old episode of the TV show, the 33rd episode. By the way, Bonesman equals 33. They say that Bruce Wayne's grandfather established Skull and Bones. Skull and Crossbones equals 223. Interestingly enough, Masonics 223 in Jewish gematria. The Synagogue of Satan's 223. The Synagogue of Satan, they have the letter written to him about the Church of Philadelphia 223. Our entire English language, very cleverly thought out. If you want to look up this episode of Batman, it released May 4th, 1966. It's called Fine Finny Fiends, the 33rd episode. It talks about Batman's grandfather's Skull and Bones. 33rd episode, Bonesman 33, Masonry 33, Secrecy 33, Skull 33. When you write out 33, it equals 66. The episode came out in 66. So all this stuff's also covered in my book, plus a whole lot more. If you've not read my book, you should definitely pick it up. A lot of important information. Learn the code, learn this knowledge, share it with your friends and family, see through this stuff instantly. So we'll leave it there. Covered all the main points. I'm sure when they put out the shooter's name, it'll be numerically encoded. Won't be surprised if it comes to something like 58 or 74 or maybe even 46. Be one of their symbolic numbers. Always is, never fails. Again, any truth channel out there not sharing gematria, I'd erase them from your list. If you're not talking about gematria, you're really not talking about anything. This is the code to see through the agenda. Nothing else even comes close. Until next time, Truth Seeker.